Yo guys, Features Gaming here and welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we are back on F1 2021 for another episode of the My Team Career Mode, episode number 5 here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Firstly, I want to apologise for the lateness of the series, but I am now back. So you can see me here just in the main menu, getting all of the recommended R&D upgrades and seeing if there was any available facility upgrades. I decided to get the build time for the powertrain as I felt like I needed more power in the car to hopefully get better performances. And then I got some team upgrades and then advanced through the week, and then we got on to qualifying. So here is my first lap around the Canadian Grand Prix in qualifying. Once again, I did do all of the team upgrades and stuff like that, or like, you know, in the practice sessions, did all of the practice sessions. So here you can see me weaving along the back straight to get some tyre temps in, as when I was doing this in practice, I really needed a lot of, you know, temperature into the tyres in order to get a good lap, because I did experiment with a load of setups. Some of them didn't work and some of them just felt okay. So here we go, coming out of the final corner, down the back straight, and then going into turn 1, trying to keep it to the right as much as possible, and then trying to open up this turn, and then going into the second one as, you know, as good as I could. And then coming down here and then into this section. It was quite hard to try and get the car stuck through those corners, but managed to just get through there. This is probably one of the hardest corners on the entire, or, you know, in the track for me. I actually had to mount that curb just for a bit. You know, most people try and avoid it, but I actually felt like it was better to get on there. Open DRS down this straight, and then coming into this section, again, another tricky few corners to navigate through here. And you can see there, spun the car out, engine off, and crashed out. And to be fair, I didn't have anything of that. So then going to the flashback, or just going into the replay, I just flashed back because I really couldn't be bothered to just crash out of qualifying. To be realistic, probably I should have just, you know, left it in, but I really wanted to, you know, get as much practice in before this race as possible. So I just, you know, quickly flashed back. We have the tools, so let's do it. I don't really think it, well, it is cheating, but I don't really think it's cheating. It's just, you know, correcting a mistake, really. But going through that right hairpin as well, I think I went pretty well, making sure that you get the best exit out of that corner for this very, very long back straight. And then as you can see me, just trying to nail that braking point, and then these couple of corners as well. Again, spin out, lose the front wing, and I just flash backed again because I kind of like to play this game casual. I don't really like to play it hardcore, so that's probably why you may see me flashbacking quite a bit. Because I just prefer to, you know, play this game casually rather than hardcore. I should probably, you know, think about playing it hardcore, you know, normally, but yeah, I don't really want to do that. But that was my first lap, and then we go into my final lap in Q1. You can see me again weaving to get the tires, you know, in the temps. I'm actually in, if I can stop moving the thing, I think I was in P12, so at this moment in the qualifying I was still through, but I just wanted to get out and try and do an extra lap, just as much as I could. But then coming through here, make sure to keep it on the right, open the first first turn, and then trying to get the good, you know, entry into turn 2. Coming into here again, trying to hook these apexes together, trying to get a good exit, and then coming up to the trickiest turn on this track, I feel. Make sure to try and get it nailed on there. I think I did that pretty well. A bit of understeer there through the third turn though, which didn't do me any good for opening that, you know, straight. So I did compromise my speed a little bit. I am still up my delta though. Getting through that corner as well pretty well, not, you know, spinning out and crashing out again and then having to use flashback. Coming into this final part of the track, sector 2, the very tight right hairpin, and again another long back straight. Obviously these previous 2 tracks that we've been doing on this series have been ones with very long back straights. But then coming into this braking zone, very good, hooking those 2 apexes, a little bit of oversteer on the exit, but still didn't compromise my time too much. Improved my time, got up to P11, and I was through to Q2 anyway. You can see me there, confirmation in P12, and my teammate Jack Aiken is actually out in P21, unfortunately. So he's got a bit of to do in tomorrow's race. But there you can see me, 1:10.457 was my lap time, and into Q2, and this is my first lap in Q2, opening DRS. I might try and weave and get some tire temp, and get some tire temps in a minute, not too sure. But coming into this braking zone, making sure I nail it absolutely perfectly. Coming through there we go. I think I actually selected to drive out then, actually, I think, I'm remembering. Because I did actually do this race a few months ago, actually. It's just been sat on the sidelines. But yeah, onto the into turns 1 and 2. Good. And then coming into turns 3 and 4. Well, I think it's turns 3 and 4. As we go through there. Good. And then coming up to the trickiest turn on the track. Again, in my opinion, you guys might disagree. Again, quite well, a little bit of understeer going through the second part, but it was still okay. Opening DRS to maximize the straight line speed as well. And then as we come to these couple of turns, make sure to hook that one. Run the apex there. There we go. I say run the apex, get onto the apex a bit more. Or, get onto the curb a bit more to, try and maximize the traction. The very tight right hairpin, good. Trying to use all of the track on the exit as well to, get the best exit as you can. And then coming down this very long back straight, make sure that you try and maximize the straight line speed as well. And then coming into these few turns, good. Hop over both the curbs, try and keep out of the wall of champions on the right, and then straight line it, as much as you can. And that gave me, and that was up into P2. My first lap in Q2. Now on to the second lap in Q2, P5. I actually pulled over to let some cars through, so I could try and weave like mad to try and get the max tire temps into the car as much as possible, letting them go as well, letting the Haas go. Apparently there was another car come in as well, so I think it's of a Red Bull, and you can see me that was the game actually taking over for me, because that was actually the end of Q2. I wasn't actually aware of the time, but we still got through in P4 nonetheless, so we can still advance into Q3, which is awesome, with a 1:10.021 lap time, which is great. So into the first lap of Q3, so I tried to try and get the best speed coming down this back straight, even though this is my first lap in Q3, so it wasn't near the end of the session anyway. But as you can see, me trying to weave around like mad, trying to get some tire temps into the tires. And then coming out of that turn, trying to, maximize that exit. And then coming down here, trying to get the best braking line there. Opening the first corner, there we go. And then into turn 2, the Red Bull there, who actually taps me and is actually trying to, compromise my line. And I was a little bit, what are you doing, mate? Because really, he's supposed to give way to me and let me go out and continue my lap. So I'm not really too sure what was happening there, but they got in my way and compromised my lap time a little bit. But I just tried to, finish this lap, and then I actually decided, no, let's actually save my battery, and, go around for, another run, because I fueled up the car, to have another run. So that's exactly what I did. Got a bit more tire temps into the tires, and then I went out for a second lap. So P4 at the moment, but that is definitely going to improve because I kind of abandoned that lap. Coming into turns 1 and 2 there, trying to get the best exit there. There we go. And then coming into turns 3 and 4, there we go. Again, trying to get the, the power down as early as I could, but not trying to, oversteer the car because I was on no traction control. And then coming into these couple of turns, just trying to make sure that I get that okay. The second corner of that wasn't, wasn't good. A bit of oversteer there.
You've been dropped to the 4th row.
Yeah, the engineer just telling me I've been dropped to the 4th row. Yeah, I know. I'd never even completed a lap. But that last sequence of corners went pretty well into the very tight right hairpin here, and then actually tapping the barrier. So I actually decided to flashback. I actually can't remember this one, to be fair. I could have just left that go. So just trying to keep out of the wall on the left on the exit there. As you can see, trying to hook that apex as much as I could. And then coming through this straight, trying to straight line it as much as possible. Open DRS, try and maximize the traction. Slowly move over to the left of the track to then get your car set up for this, or for these for this last chicane. Again, trying to avoid the World of Champions on the right, and then trying to keep it as close as you can to the exit. I could have probably got a bit more time if I straight lined it after that corner, but I wasn't aware of that. And now into my final lap in Q3. I'm in P10, so I do really need to improve this lap time if I want to start up on the grid. So we're not trying to weave tire temps, just trying to get as much, you know, time as I can to try and, you know, complete this lap. As you can see, trying to get to the line, but again, I didn't have any time. But I didn't even get a warning saying insufficient time. So unfortunately, that was at the end of Q3, and I, you know, was knocked out there with a 1 minute 10.564. So my lap time in Q2 was actually better. But I'm starting P10 in the race, so I'm going to have to do a bit of work to see if I can get up the order. But to be fair, qualifying P10 is pretty good enough. So let's get through to the race, which you are going to see now. So welcome along everyone to the Canadian Grand Prix here in Season 1. As I said at the start of the video, as you can see here, the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton qualifying in pole position, and I think that's Max Verstappen on P2, and then me starting down in P10. Here's a look at the Canadian Grand Prix track, 2.7 mile track, 14 turns, a very tricky sector 3 with that very long back straight into one of the tightest corners in the entire track. Sector 2 again pretty tricky, and sector 1 is just flat out one of the fastest tracks of the entire season. So going into the race starts here to 5 red lights, where it's lights out and away we go, and a pretty good start from everyone on the grid. Probably a little bit, you know, bad for me, as I think I, you know, lost the position to Pierre Gasly in the Alpha Tower a bit through turn 1, just trying to keep it as wide as I could to try and avoid it, and then go through turn 2 there. Pretty close between everyone, but I just managed to keep out of trouble and, you know, stop my front wing. Pierre Gasly didn't actually get past Pierre Gasly didn't actually get past me. I thought he did. I thought they did. Then coming into that turn, just trying to dive bomb Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, and I think Pierre Gasly actually had a look as well. So quite an action-packed first lap there for me in, you know, my own team. A pretty good lap, you know, with the opening there. So advancing through the lap onto the end of lap 1, there's nothing really happened for the second part of that lap. Coming into sector 3, me trying to get past the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Kind of got a little bit close there to Wall of Champions. I think I may have touched it slightly, but didn't break off my wing. But yeah, I think I just broke a bit later going into that very heavy braking point. So yeah, I was kind of a bit conscious about that. On to the end of lap 2, again still trying to get past Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari ahead of me. So again trying to, you know, maximize the straight line speed on this very long back straight from the exit of that corner. Going down the inside here, late braking, and I just about get it done. You could argue that I cut the corner there, but just to try and get past there, and that was me up into P8 past the Ferrari, and now trying to chase down Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. But he's in Mercedes, I'm in my own team. It's probably not going to be good. Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri trying to look to get past me, tries to go down the outside into turn 1, and I'm just like, no sir, and I keep that position to myself. The very next lap he tries the exact same thing around the outside, and again I'm just like, no, I'm not letting you get past me. I want to preserve this P8. And yeah, we go through onto a lap 7 now. Again, Pierre Gasly up there trying to get past me, but I actually dive into the pits there, so I actually give him the position because I think I elected to go onto the 2-stop. So me coming down the pit lane, going onto a set of medium tyres as I started on the softs, because that is what I used to get through in Q2. So the team not changing the front wing, which is good, as you know, I didn't need to, and it would have lost me too much time. So onto a fresh set of mediums and out into the race in last position. So I've got a lot of places to make up now, but onto lap 8, and now as we go on to the end of lap 8, I've caught up with Nicholas Latifi in the Williams. What can I do going into the heavy braking zone? I pull up to the outside, late braking, and I just get it done as well, and I think I probably made that second part with that chicane good as well. Sebastian Vettel pitted ahead of me as well, so I didn't have to bother getting past him, but there's me going down the inside of Fernando Alonso in the Alpine there, and I get that done quite nicely, I must say so myself. And then do I try anything on my teammate Jack Aitken onto the second part of this lap. Lap 9 we are on now. Do I try anything going into the very long braking zone? He actually pits, so that kind of lessens the threat. And now me trying to chase down Nikita Mazepin in the Haas. Can I do anything going into turn 1? No, I'm just too far back. And yeah, and then going through the right. But I do actually have a very good exit there as I just lose the rear. And if I didn't lose the rear, I probably would have been able to get past him. But as we try and go through now into turns 5 and 6, I think. But as you can see me there, just going up the inside of Nikita Mazepin and saying thank you very much, I'll have that place. And up into P12 from the pit stop. And here we go onto lap 11. Again, I just really love this aerial view of, you know, the cars. Me trying to actually chase down Mick Schumacher here. And I actually get passed through there on the inside. I said I like this camera. I don't like when there's trees blocking the overtake. But that was me up into P8 past Mick Schumacher in the Haas. Lap 11 again we are on here. So coming through this turn as well. I think there's Daniel Ricciardo in front of me. And oh, that's an engine failure for the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo. So that's his race done on lap 11. And he pulls over and retires the car, unfortunately. Now on to lap 22 now. Really advancing through the races. Nothing really happens. As you can see me there in P4. Pulling ahead of Lewis Hamilton behind me coming out of the pit. So let's view this lap of me trying to defend from Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, behind me in my car. And yeah, we'll just see how much we can hold him up. So coming through this very long back straight, the first few corners I didn't really feel like I had to defend because I kind of, you know, was quite ahead. But through here, again, I think I had to defend maybe a little bit going into that corner. But as you will see down this back straight, I really had to defend coming into the hairpin. Late braking, turning it in, trying to get the best exit as I can, and then, you know, bombing it down here. What can I do, or what can Lewis Hamilton do coming into the very long back straight? I've actually built a slight gap to him, so that is pretty good. But here's DRS down this back straight and just a Mercedes power, you know, thing. As you can see, he's alongside me as we get to the braking point. But with my late braking and skill, I guess, I managed to stay in front of him in P2. But as you can see, going into turn 1, I could have defended that position a bit better. But Lewis Hamilton just gets past, and with his power, there was no way I was going to stay in front. And I'm now back down in P3. On to the end of lap 23 here. I dived into the pit lane for my second pit stop of the race. Again, onto another set of medium tyres to the end of the race. So coming down, I think I told the team to, you know, not change my front wing as I didn't need my front wing changing. And if I did, that probably would have been very catastrophic to my race. So team not changing the front wing, putting on the mediums quite quickly, me back out and into the race. And I think I came out in P7 unless Pierre Gasly was coming down the home straight, which they weren't. They're coming down into turn 1 now, but with the pit lane effectively skipping turn 1, you get a pretty good exit. So P7 onto lap 27, and I think the team were actually telling me here that they were managing an engine issue, and I was just like, oh great, here we go again. So I was like kind of thinking, yeah, an engine failure is going to happen, which was really annoying because I was in P7, and there you can see confirmation my engine gave up. And I think whenever you just get that message saying that you're managing an engine failure, I think, yeah, your engine's going to blow up. So yeah, unfortunately I did have to DNF out of this race after running in P7, qualifying in, you know, Q3. I was having a pretty good race, and it was a bit annoying to, you know, for all of that to come to an end, and me having to DNF. So this is the race rundown. So Lewis Hamilton, of course, winning the Canadian Grand Prix, followed by Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes, followed by Lando Norris, Sergio Perez finishing 5th, and then Charles Leclerc finishing 6th. Pierre Gasly in P7, followed by Lance Stroll in P8, Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari in P9, and then Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin in P10. Yuki Tsunoda in P11 and Kimi Raikkonen in P12. Esteban Ocon in P14, followed by Antonio Giovinazzi, actually in P14, Esteban Ocon in P13. Fernando Alonso in P15, followed by Mick Schumacher, and then my teammate Jack Aitken in P17, so he made a lot of ground George Russell and Nicholas Latifi in P18 and 19, Nikita Mazepin, and then me, who unfortunately DNF'd just in front of Daniel Ricciardo, who DNF'd first. So that is going to be the end of this race. I did enjoy it. Hope you guys did enjoy it. So if you did, then make sure you leave a like on this video. That'd be awesome, and thank you very much. Also, make sure to subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. And I will see you guys in the next video or stream. But until then, take care and peace out.